everybody. But your fangirl is appreciated. Your fangirling is appreciated. Let's go and defeat Astos. E. Key. It's kind of crazy that this is the first real dungeon of the game. Also, really weird that this is a remix of the shop theme. Cave in the southern marsh to find the crown. Alright, sure thing, guy who's definitely not Astos. No, not the shop theme, the Cornelia Castle theme. So how's everybody doing today? Looks like shit. You're right, it does look like shit. I feel like headache building. It's ideal weather for northern climb. For northern climb. We've got good money. So let me check the map again. It may behoove us to head back to Elfheim before going to this cave. But we're not going to do that. Because I don't want to. So I spent a bunch of time today looking into like the history of Final Fantasy Tactics. There it is. Which is super cool. Oh no, a marsh. I just have my regular black t-shirt. I want to fire on these fuckers. Yeah, but you're always wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Says the peak here today is 18 degrees. Currently, it is 16 and raining. Oh no, apparently it is now 18 degrees and cloudy. I think because it's Wednesday. That makes sense. Yeah, fuck it. Let's head back to town. That's good money. All of my shirts are black except for the one that's blue. The blue one's actually the Superman shirt. I feel like the S on it's kind of small. I like the suits where the S is big, prominent across the chest. Which I suppose means, like, my least favourite suit in the movie is to be Brandon Routh's, then. Because the S was weirdly small on that suit. So, Clem, how goes the not playing Nocturne? I was thinking something yesterday would be a good suggestion for you, because you could probably stream PSP emulation, and I can't remember what it was. Something on PSP. I'm legit not sure what it was, though. PSP does have some, like, genuinely great games, though. I'm always gonna love the aesthetics of the PSP Go. Such a nice system. Love it. Beautiful. Perfect. I'm so happy I own one. Oh, werewolf. I remember when I first got my PSP and how enamored I was with just the entire idea of being able to play PlayStation games on the go. It's like the first PlayStation game I got on it was Final Fantasy VII. It's like, oh, I can play any PlayStation game anywhere now. It's going to be Final Fantasy VII. And it was great. I played the shit out of it. think the next one after that was Metal Gear Solid that I was excited to play portable. Like, it's legitimately just a really good system. Tent is not a bad idea. And it's one of those games where the tent isn't going to fully heal you, though. That's fucking irritating. Absolutely despise that. I don't like the idea of cottages in these games. Like, sleeping bag's fine. Like, you want to have the tent, which fully heals everybody, and the sleeping bag, which only fully heals one person. Sure, I'm just never going to buy a sleeping bag. But the tent that heals some, and then the cottage that fully heals, I don't like that. I don't like it in any game to do it. The freaking PSP Go is such a nice system. Got such a nice screen. And there's nothing like playing video games on intended hardware. Everything just looks perfect on intended hardware. Well, I say that, I've really been, like, handheld games in particular just look best on intended hardware. Although that's not entirely true with pre-backlight hardware. In which case, those games look best on systems you can actually see the games on. I don't like that Esuna only heals poison in this game. I think it's really just to do with emulation, not resolution. It's the same as playing something like a Nintendo 64 on a modern TV versus an HD an original CRT TV. If you're playing it on the hardware as intended, it's just gonna look better. Love it. Fuck, it's why I still have my Game Boy Micro. It's like, you know what system Game Boy Advance games are best on? The Micro. Largely because the screen's small, but like, it's a beautiful backlit screen. Everything on there just looks so good. I just love that it's got a metal shell. So few handhelds actually have a metal shell. And it feels really nice. It's not comfortable. Like, it's way too small to be comfortable. And, like, I don't have large hands. And I think it's too small to really be practical to use. Like, I'd play Final Fantasy on it. I'd play Final Fantasy V on it. I have played Final Fantasy V on it. I would not play Castlevania on it. I tried. As soon as you need to start using shoulder buttons regularly, it just falls apart. Because it's difficult to grip them comfortably. Like Willy in parts, like Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 2. But it's a cool system to own. Really cool system to own. Kind of wish I had one at the time, but I had the Game Boy Advance SP, which overall is the better system to use. And, like, the SP was fantastic. Got so much right. Like, it's a clamshell design, which is great. Makes it so much more pocketable. Protects the screen, because you can just fold it down and cover the screen. Rechargeable battery. That was such a big deal. And the front-lit screen, which meant you could actually see the screen, which was great. Great device when it came out. Then the Game Boy Advance is kind of lucky, though, in that regard, in that there are so many genuinely really good ways of officially playing it from the time. Like, the original Game Boy Advance was pretty comfortable. Like, moving to a horizontal handheld from the vertical designs of the Game Boy was great. E. Its biggest problem was just that the screen was so hard to see. Which was down to a couple of things, like the lack of any kind of light source in the system wasn't great, but it was something we were used to at the time. But the screen also was very glossy. Like, it reflected light so easily. and then the SP came along and had like the front light, and then the revised SP came along and had the backlight, and the Micro came along and had a backlight as well. And the DS with its GBA cartridge slot with a full backlight, right? And the DS Lite kept that. Like, so many good ways of just playing Game Boy Advance. Good system. I'm gonna assume these guys are undead. You know, I've forgotten how much I genuinely don't like early Final Fantasy dungeon designs. Which is weird, because it's one of the things I usually complain about with Final Fantasy IV. You'd think I'd remember that the 3 games that came before it have the same issue. I want to dual wield. Get my sword chucks. So Final Fantasy 1, like, I talk about this game and like how simple it is and how that is quite charming. I think it becomes like a really great RPG to stop and start with. Like, in the modern era, this is absolutely a great RPG to just have on a handheld. It's like if you had Dawn of Souls on GBA. Like, this game was great for that. Like, make a bit of progress, save, turn it off, turn it back on, make some more progress. Slowly explore these caves. A good low-key way of enjoying an RPG like this. Particularly because there's so little in the way of, like, actual story engagement. It's like, it's a good game to do kind of stop and start on and off with. Or to do in the background while you're listening to something. But to just do it, like, straight on, like this, in extended sequences, a little more difficult. Another reason to advocate the PSP version, which speeds things up generally and I think adds auto battle as a thing. Eek. Yeah, that's something. Really makes me rethink how I want to do original Dragon Quest on stream. Like, that's something that will probably really benefit from having somebody on mic with me. Probably Chance. Because Chance has a bunch of history with Dragon Quest and enjoys it. Dragon Quest 3, though. That's a hell of a game. It still kind of amazes me in some regards of, like, how early Dragon Quest 3 is. Because it's such a big step up from, like, all JRPGs at the time. Like, Dragon Quest 1 was a big hit, and then Dragon Quest 2 was a big improvement on that. And you'd think they'd sit on that for a while and just kind of iterate on the formula for a while, but no, Dragon Quest 3 is such a huge step up from 2 right after that. Kind of insane. With its own incarnation of a job system that predates Final Fantasy 3. God damn. Like, I hope, with the current burst of popularity Dragon Quest has in the West now, this Dragon Quest 3 remake is going to, like, absolutely blow up. Because it's a game that definitely deserves more attention in the West. Take. It's an interesting consideration. God, Kyoto's so little in this game. Although we think about it, like, how long ago did Octopath Traveler? Octopath Traveler was quite a while ago now. So we currently have 4 2D HD games on the market. Octopath 2, Triangle Strategy, and the Live remake. Well, Square owns the term and engine for that, don't they? So, like, actually looking at 2D HD as a thing, it really just, like, looks like the logical end point of the PS1 era style of 2D character sprites with 3D environments. Oh, and there's the opera scene from Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. Yeah, Square owns that idea, don't they? Impression I was under. I think pricing is a good point, though. Have they all launched at full price? I would have hoped that Live at least would have launched at a reduced price, like $50 maybe. But these days, like, there's no actual... These days, there's no actual kind of line to be set. Or how much a game can cost at max for what it is. Yeah, but it's been out long enough to drop in price. I bought it on sale on Steam. I didn't pay a huge amount for it. I do need to get around to it. Everything about it that I've heard says it's a game I will enjoy. Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar position with a bunch of stuff like that. Like that, Saga Frontier Remaster, Legend of Mana. With Trials of Mana, do I want to play the original first or the remake? You could probably do it either order. But at this point, if you haven't played the original, it's probably just going to be a thing of, like, play the remake. With its extra character and such. Want to leave. So I probably will play the remake. I think I have it on my Steam Deck at the moment. It's definitely downloaded on my PC, right? Work up the effort to start another RPG. Oh, Teak, in regards to the Baldur's Gate playthrough, meant to talk to you about this. Won't start it this week. This Sunday is my birthday. So, like, streaming-wise, we're going to be doing the birthday stream. Got nothing going on in my actual life, so why not? Not sure what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's fair then. Excellent. I really should have played any version other than the PlayStation version of the stream. Not the PlayStation version's even particularly bad. It's just the later versions are so much quicker. Speaking of HD 2D and so many games coming out in a short period of time that are similar to... I played the first stage of Triangle Strategy a little while back, and that looks great. I feel like an actual regular RPG 2D, HD 2D can be maybe not great. I feel like it might muddy some of the visuals a little. So I need to spend proper time with a 2D HD game. No, it is HD 2D, what am I saying? Yeah, I just need to spend some proper time with one of those games to really get an idea of it. But, looking at Triangle Strategy, like, it'd probably be really cool if Final Fantasy Tactics remade that engine. And I wonder if that's part of the reason why the Tactics Master that's supposedly been in the works for a while hasn't been announced. On top of the recent strategy games Square's put out. Because they put out quite a bunch in a fairly short space of time. Which was really surprising. So there was the Tactics Ogre remake, Triangle Strategy, Field Chronicle, the Front Mission remakes were all announced, started coming out. And considering the company hadn't touched tactical RPGs like that in a long time, I think since the mobile release of Final Fantasy Tactics, there's a lot to come out in a short space of time. One of those things, though, of like, I just want these games to be more available to people. I'm kind of interested in the Field Chronicle. Should have enough of those swords then. Any other armor I was after? Yeah, I just want games to be more available. Everything. Everything I'm after. Right, let's go. Any interesting video game news? NIS America says that Trails and East fans won't have to wait so long for future English releases. But I'm pretty sure they said that like a year ago. So we'll see how true that ends up. Oh yeah, Shin Megami Tensei is getting a like a board game, a role-playing board game. Not seeing a whole lot else. I mean, we could talk about the Dead by Daylight deal. Castlevania DLC has been announced for Dead by Daylight, which is cool. And like the trailer shows off Trevor Belmont in his Curse of Darkness design. Actually, really neat. I appreciate it's not the Netflix design. It looks nothing like the Netflix design. I really appreciate it. I hate when a video game gets a spin-off in another media, another piece in the area, and that becomes the only thing anything else wants to take from it. Small example relating to Castlevania. I'm not overly fond of how current depictions of Belmonts depict them using the combat cross from Lord of Shadow. I'm not fond of that at all. I like the classic vampire killer whip. And for those who don't know, the combat cross is the whip from Lord of Shadow. Specifically. Yeah, I like that they're using the Curse of Darkness Trevor design. Really nice. I didn't go north here. But it brought up a point that I hadn't really thought about, and I mentioned it in the Discord, of how I think the last 15 years we've had more Castlevania guest appearances as DLC than we've had Castlevania. And that's even counting games that are just rehashing content like Grimoire of Souls. Because like Order Ecclesia was, I think, 2009. I took one fucking step. Yeah, I think Order Ecclesia was 2009. Then the Lord of Shadow games. I think Lord of Shadow 2, 2013. There's like four games. Lord Shadow, Order of Ecclesia, Lord Shadow, Mirror of Fate, Lord Shadow 2. And in the last couple of years, we had the Dead Cells DLC, we've got the V Rising DLC, something Castlevania related, something else. I've been the new Contra game, newest Contra game, Operation Galuga. Dead by Daylight DLC, and there was another. And it's like, I just want more Castlevania. These guest appearances are great, but I'd like a Castlevania. The enemies are striking first too often. I guess failing that, like not actually getting a new Castlevania game, I'd like Konami to release the rest of the Castlevania games on modern systems. That would be nice. Like, the DS games are absolutely worth a re-release. The issue with that, I suppose, is trying to work out what they're gonna do for the controls. Every single one of the DS games has some kind of touchscreen functionality. And you can mostly ignore it in Portrait of Ruin and Order of Ecclesia. Mostly. If you want to do the bonus modes, and anymore, you have to deal with it. Because the Portrait of Ruin, to play Sisters mode, it's controlled almost entirely with the touchscreen. It was a mode I had difficulty playing back in the day, because you have to move using the D-pad. It makes no concession left hand. A lot of DS games that required you to use the stylus and buttons would have a left-handed mode where you would move with the face buttons rather than the D-pad. Sisters mode in Portrait of Ruin did not. So I had to play that game with my offhand with the stylus, which was never fun. Order of Ecclesia Albus mode unlocked by finishing the game. There are points in the game where you need to teleport as Albus, and he'll teleport to wherever you tap on the touchscreen. Like, that'd be something they'd have to figure out. Anyway. But then Dawn of Sorrow has the issue of the below soul allows you to break ice blocks by tapping them on the touchscreen, required to continue the 1 point. And the Magic Seal, which requires you to draw a seal on the screen to kill every boss except Dimitri and the final boss. And so they'd have to rework the game for those. You can find ROM hacks that have reworked the game to deal with that. The solution is that they just remove it because it's not a good... It's like, hey, did you just beat this difficult boss? Cool, draw a complicated seal on the screen. They get more complicated the further into the game you go. What's that? You did it correctly, but the touchscreen didn't register it properly? Well, guess what? The boss is revived with more health now. Kill it again. Genuinely not fun. On the other side of that argument is, like, all three of the DS Castlevania games are genuinely really absolutely. It'd be nice if more people had the chance to. This idea for a Castlevania day, Castlevania specific stream. Yeah. Maybe I'll just start picking Castlevania games out of a hat or something, rather than going through in release order. Because like, I've thought about release order Like when Teak did series playthrough when he did his Castlevania franchise Fridays. He did chronological order. And like the problem with both is you end up with an abundance of a specific style of Castlevania for an extended period. And I'd kind of like to jump between the two. Or three, I guess, because Lord Shadow would be back in the mix. I'm not against doing Lord Shadow again. Do Mirror of Fate this time too. You know, it's probably an underrated feature of the Pixel remasters that they give you maps for these dungeons. Right. At this point, I'm just looking for the stairs. Yep, Cure is kind of garbage in this game. That's interesting, because I definitely saw stairs leading further down somewhere. How's everybody doing today? All enjoying your Wednesday? All playing good video games? I'm just tired of so fucking dumb. I feel that this game is not that engaging. I should have known, but like it's been so long since I've just sat down and played Final Fantasy for an extended. I feel like after this section we'll probably call it and I'll just read the fucking tutorial in Tactics. We'll play that instead. And if we do come back to FF1, it'll be on a faster version. A faster version with better, less irritating balance. I feel like status effects are too big of an issue in this game for how common they are. Like how easily you can get poisoned, access to poison restoration a lot. Rather than being a level 4 spell that costs 2,500. This is the easy mode. Helpful. When you did this, Teak, what version did you end up doing? Was it the PSP version? So much Enemy Strikes First. PSP is... I really like the way the PSP version looks. Can you believe how long ago you did FF1? That was before I started following you. That long ago. No, it's you. Every now and then I think about how little a lot of us play Resident Evil anymore. When Resident Evil was like one of the big things that brought us to each other. Yeah, I believe it was, yeah. So you weren't using Facecam when I followed. Yeah, if I feel like we've gone through enough games this year, might see about making December about games that I've already done on stream. Which will mean probably it would probably end up being 3. Although, thinking about that, and that feels like not such a good idea. done so much classic Resident Evil on stream. Yeah, maybe not. Because the stuff I would think about replaying is stuff that I've done multiple times. It'd be like FF7 I've done multiple times. Resident Evil games I've done multiple times. Solid I've done multiple times. Symphony of the Night I've done multiple times. Yeah, so maybe it would just be smart to keep doing stuff that I've not done before through December. If I'm able to stream on Christmas Eve, I have the perfect game for that. And because the PS1 was still at a point when you could get so much shovelware on a system, like there are actually multiple Christmas games for the PS1, so you would never be able to figure out what it is. Well, that's what a lot of this is, T. Like, I want to play a lot of this stuff. Anything that I don't want to play is, yeah, sure, we'll do one session of it. That's it. But everything else, stuff like that, I actually want to play. That doesn't just loot very quick. Mind. There's still a bunch that I do actually want to play, though. Dino Crisis, Breath of Fire 3. We could work it in, like, work out the time for it, Dragon Warrior 7. Spyro 2. I had a weird hesitation with starting Spyro 2, and I'm not sure why. But there is still plenty that I want to do. Say one of the Bond games, but I'd like to with dedicated segment to the Bond games, which would just include the Bond games on PS1. I still haven't actually played the N64 version of The World Is Not Enough properly. Played a little bit of it, I don't remember how much. It is an entirely different game to the PS1 version. Yeah, I had the PS1 version growing up and I enjoyed it. But the N64 version, much better. Not as good as GoldenEye, but like close. What I've heard. I just generally enjoyed the Bond games in that time period. But after that, we got Agent Under Fire, which I really like, and Nightfire, which is, and Everything or Nothing, which is really solid. I should play one of those in my own time. Back in the time when first-person shooters were a genre I genuinely enjoyed because there was so much fun variety. And so I'd enjoy stuff like the military shooters, because the military shoot everything. You'd have stuff like Bond games and Time Splitters. And then like your Medal of Honor and your Call of Duty on the side. Fine. I'm glad the genre's kind of reclaimed some of that. But it's really just the indie space. There's not a lot of big budget first-person shooters thinking about it. I suppose there's that new Perfect Dark game coming out that they... which would probably be the first big-budget first-person shooter that's not Call of Duty or Battlefield since Return. That's kind of crazy to think about. Everything else was in this stuff. Yeah, I'm interested in it. There was a few things at that Xbox presentation that I was interested in, and I don't remember what most of them were. Although I will say, like, the trailers that I watched, I would really like it if we could stop having these panning shots in trailers. They're all like, look at the world and how beautiful. No. We know that's every game now. We're absolutely at the point where like, graphics are not eye-catcher anymore in the way that the thinks they are. Oh, I am the great king of the Dark Elves, Astos. Well, your ass gonna be toast. You know, if you just paid us for our services, we probably would have just left. It's big damage. Does this boss have an instant kill attack? At a point in the game when I have no way of dealing with that? That went a lot quicker than I expected to, especially considering how little damage we were dealing per attack. That is actually kind of weird. So we got the crystal eye, so let's head back to Matoya. Matoya. Matoya, Matoya. Yeah, definitely have to bring Chance on when I do Dragon Warrior 1. Depends on how the new remake is. Like, I may end up doing that instead of the Game Boy Color version, which is the one I've always intended on doing. Such a good version of it. remember when there was a period of time when companies would just bundle the first two games of the series together. Because usually the first game was like too much of a simple to sell on its own to a modern audience. Like Final Fantasy did it multiple times. Final Fantasy Origins Collection, Final Fantasy Dawn of Souls on Game Boy Advance. It wasn't until the PSP when they started selling them separate again. Dragon Quest did it multiple times, like the Super Famicom remake, the Game Boy Color remake. East has been doing it for like probably the longest. I think every release of the first two East games outside of the original release has always been a bundle of East 1 and East 2. Which makes the most sense, really, because East 1 ends going directly into East 2. East 1 ends with you climbing the Tower of Darm to get to the floating constant. And then East 2 begins on the floating constant of East. They're a complete story, the two. And they're not that long. Even paired together, they're like 15 hours. To bundle them together was always a good idea. Good stuff. Underrated games. It's nice that East gets more attention. I hope they release those games, those earlier games in the series, on more systems than just PC. I think on console you can get East Origin, East 8, 9. I don't think you can get any of the others on console in a minute, but on PC you can get like all of them. East 1 and 2 Chronicles, The Oath in Felghana, Memories of Celceta came to PC. The Ark of Napishtim and 7. Got all of them on PC. The only one you can't get is the one that's not been remade, which is East 5. That'd be nice if they put those on other systems as well. Speaking of, actually, it's really weird that the only modern system you can buy Chrono Trigger on is PC. That's just kind of crazy. Hey, it's Isa. It is, isn't it? Like, it's been there for so long. And especially with the remaster of Chrono Cross. How you doing, Isa? Yeah, like with the release of the remaster of Chrono Cross, you'd think they would have taken the opportunity to put Chrono Trigger on consoles. Because it's not a bad port anymore. Okay, I'd probably have bought it again. Oh, let's just get to Matoya's cave. These battles are not even doing anything. Seriously, like, I would genuinely really like a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster. The most wondrous potion from my collection. You got classically aged whiskey. Oh, you're kind of a bitch. Doesn't even bother telling you what it's for. Does the menu tell you? Yep. Oh, that's... I really do need to play Tactics Ogre Reborn. He added voice acting to it. But I know they also rebalanced it from the PSP version. And the PSP version was considered, like, the most playable, I think. and they rebalanced it for Reborn. I haven't seen any new video game news. Humble's got a Capcom bundle on that's pretty good. I'd consider getting it, but I own almost everything in that bundle already. The Jolt Tonic. I got the Mystic Key. The game's probably going to want me to go back into the Marsh Cave to open that door right at the bottom. I don't want to fucking do that. Was there anything locked with the Mystic Key in here? Probably that. Good morning. Imagine it's like, okay, we're gonna lock these chests using the Mystic Key, which will only be able to be opened by the warriors foretold in prophecy carrying the 4 crystals. So what are we gonna put in them? Yeah, that makes. Like, I very heavily recommend it go. But given that it's on the highest tier, like, it's not worth buying that bundle. It's like, you got these chests. Once you seal them, you can only be opened by the Light Warriors with the Mystic Key. What do you put in them? Legendary equipment? Or magic, maybe? Ash. Ashin. Imagine if it was like a real life thing, and it's like, okay, we've gone and sealed this chest. Everything locked with the Mystic Key contains important items that help the people save the world. and then like you open one up and there's just like a rolled up 20 in there. It's like, oh, thanks. I think I bought the Great Ace. Might have been on Switch. Wrong way. I don't remember what else was top of that list. Oh, it was the Capcom Fighting Collection. I don't actually own that. What is that? All the Darkstalkers games, Hyper Street Fighter 2 to Hyper Street Fighter 2, which the other collections I've bought have given me every other version of Street Fighter 2 except Ultimate Fighter 2 and Hyper Street Fighter 2. I don't like Street Fighter 2. Super Pulse Fighter 2 Turbo, which I already own on something of that game. Super Gem Fighter Minimix, which I've never actually been sure what Gem Fighter is. Cyberbots Full Metal Madness, not sure what that is. And Red Earth, which I've never been interested in. Yes, I saw it on Monday. Which is fortunate because the internet has just started throwing around spoilers for it. Like, I feel like the cameos are a great thing to go into the movie not knowing who's going to be there. And the internet is just throwing them all over the place. Like, oh, here's what Ryan Reynolds thought about this person being in the movie. Here's what this person said about being in the movie. And it's like, you're not even covering up who it is. It was like, thank God I saw it when I did. Yeah, I only had one cameo spoiled for me. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I was watching it at the time. I was watching it and thinking to myself, like, we probably have hit the end of acceptability for just bringing back actors who played these for cameo purposes. Because it's been done so many times at this point that seeing actors do it again, every time it happens, it becomes more and more likely that the magic of it's going to wear off. It's like it was a big deal when Crisis on Infinite Earths did it. TV crossover for the DC shows, the CWDC shows. It was a big deal when they did it. Brought back people like Tom Welling was in it. Kevin Conroy played a live-action Batman in it. Like, yeah, they had a bunch of people, though it definitely didn't help. They already had a bunch of those characters. They already had a bunch of those actors playing roles already. It's like, oh, we brought John Wesley Shipp back as the Flash. Like, cool, so that's going to be the third character John Wesley Shipp's playing in this series. Or, we brought Brandon Routh back as Superman. It's like, cool, so that's going to be another character he's playing, because you've already got him as the Atom. But, like, there was that. Spider-Man No Way Home was the big... Well, Nicolas Cage in the Superman suit was more a case of, like, a dream he never got to fulfill. Rather than like, oh, check it out. I feel like The Flash has been out long enough that we can talk about without worrying too much about spoilers. But like, spoilers for The Flash if you've not seen it. It's kind of crazy that everything the Flash had, everything the Flash could have had, is like, oh, we're going to have these alternate universe versions of characters. Cool, so we're going to see alternate versions of the Flash? No. We're going to show you Batman and Superman. But this is the Flash. So you end up with, I think, one alternate Flash. Well, I think it helps that they had a main character who doesn't shut up, but is actually kind of funny about it. Every time Barry Allen opens his mouth in The Flash, it's just like, for fuck's sake, close it. And their solution to making him try to be more likable is to present you with a more unlikable version. Yeah, you end up with like two versions of the Flash. There's the Flash, and like there's alternate Flash, who is still played by Ezra Miller. And then there's the one glimpse you get of a possible Jay Garrick as the Flash. Although who the actor for that actually is, nobody actually really knows. It was up in the air for a while whether or not it was the guy who played Hunter Solomon in the CW. Apparently it's actually just based on the likeness. Somebody who worked on the movie. Like, that's it, but you've got 4 alternate Batmen and 3 alternate Supermen in it. And it's supposed to be a Flash movie. It's like, spoilers for No Way Home, but at this point, No Way Home has spoiled this itself now. They don't even hide it in press material for it now. If you ever see any pictures to promote No Way Home, they just spoil it immediately. But like, Spider-Man No Way Home, one of the big things wondering with it when it was coming out, you've got these villains from the other Spider-Man movies, like Doc Ock, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is back, and that was not worth it. Alfred Molina's back as Doc Ock, Willem Dafoe's back as Green Goblin, Thomas Hayden Church is back as Sandman. Jamie Foxx is back as Electro, Rhys Ifans is back as the Lizard. Dane DeHaan, for some reason, is not back as Harry Osborn, despite that makes more sense than Electro, but it's not there. And so the big question is, are they going to take the opportunity they have the other Spider-Man as well, or is that something that's not going to happen? And it does happen. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are both in the movie, and great. And if they hadn't done that, it would have been a missed opportunity. That you would have left the movie thinking, like, why didn't they have them? And that's what The Flash does. You come out of a movie thinking, like, why did they have all of this and not other versions of the main character? It's like if No Way Home didn't have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, but did have Thomas J. Or, like, who's one? Ben Affleck. If they had Ben Affleck. Because Charlie Cox is in, Daredevil cameo, cool, great. But then it also had Ben Affleck as Daredevil later in the movie, and it'd be like, but where are the other Spider-Men? And that's what The Flash does. At no point do they have Grant Gustin show up or even get referenced or mentioned in any way. No point is John Wesley's ship ever considered a thing. But it's very important that we show off 4 different versions of Batman and 3 different versions. So ridiculous. Just one of numerous things that The Flash did, right? That said, though, like, genuinely my favorite part of the movie, and the part I actually laughed out loud at, is when the final Batman turns up on screen. I was like, yeah, I love that. Genuinely fantastic. But it serves to highlight one of the big issues it has. The movie exists, the Flash movie exists to aggrandize Batman and Superman, and not the Flash. Putting Grant Gustin would have probably Putting Grant Gustin would have only served to remind people how much they don't like Ezra Miller. And it's like, you know, I'd agree with you, Teak. Except putting Ezra Miller in twice, I think, served to remind people how unlikable Ezra Miller is in that role. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was good. Enjoyed it. I think it's probably on its own merits, not as strong as Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 probably is a better movie overall. I've also seen some criticism of, like, you need to know a lot of Marvel movie history. Behind the scenes stuff. You need to have seen so many other unconnected movies to fully appreciate it. Which, fortunately, I have, and I have a ridiculous memory for a lot of this stuff. Which was great, so I got to fully appreciate it. But it's very easy to understand how somebody wouldn't. I wouldn't even say it's weaker than the first movie, I'd say it's just weaker than the second. Overall, it's still better than the first. I never really gelled that much with the first Deadpool movie. I thought it started well and then became just kind of generic. But yeah, as like the final idea of 20th Century Fox movies, yeah, it was a nice send off to them. It was a good closer for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but it didn't invalidate Logan as a movie as an existence. It didn't tread all over that as a thing. Of like, oh yeah, we brought Hugh Jackman back, fuck Logan. It's like no, Logan still happened, still a great goodbye to the character of Wolverine. But also, here's a little more of it. Well, the part that treads over Wolverine, treads over Logan, like, we both know what the bit is. And it's like, yeah, but that's great. A very great Deadpool thing. But it doesn't, like, an outside universe context, it doesn't ruin Logan as a send-off to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I guess, is the way I'm presenting it. I always thought Logan was overrated. I mean, it is. I'm not going to disagree with that. One of the reasons I like it as much as I do, which isn't, like, to the max at the point anyway, is because it's the kind of thing I'm always asking for from superhero movies. It's a movie featuring superhero characters that isn't the big summer blockbuster movie. Which I'm always saying, like, superhero movies need to do more of now that superhero movie is just such an oversaturated thing. And so having Logan there as this kind of pseudo-western last ride kind of thing was great. In the same way that, like, Captain America the Winter Soldier being a big conspiracy thriller, right? Or The Batman being a noir detective movie. Welcome back, Panda. And, like, that's why I like Logan as a... I'm usually. Alright, let's go back to Cornelia, the Mystic King. Well, I like this idea that these tentpole movies that we've become so accustomed to can be something different to what. It's why I like Rogue One as much as I do, because it's not a traditional, typical Star Wars movie, and does its own thing. The parts of Solo that I actually like, that I don't think are completely pointless, are when it's being this weird road trip heist movie. And I'm like, great, do that kind of thing in the Star Wars universe. Absolutely down for that. I keep saying, like, you know what would be a great idea? Darth Vader slasher movie. We've got these universes that we can do stuff with. Do more with them. There's also a thing of, like, any interest I have in the new Hellboy movie would come from that idea as well. Because it looks like it's going to be a more low-key horror movie. A lot of my interest in Doctor Strange 2 was in the original description of it being a horror movie. I was like, superhero horror movie? Absolutely. Super down for that, and then it wasn't. Yeah, overall I enjoyed the movie, I enjoyed the cameos. I didn't enjoy the fake-out cameos, if you know what I mean. The characters that are there that aren't played by the actors who played them previously. And it's like, you can write it off as variants of them, but also, like, you know what you're doing. The most standout example, there's two examples. The most standout example is really obvious. The other example is less obvious because you only get one look at the face, very briefly. There are characters you can see in the trailer, but I'd say outright. But yeah, after this, like, I feel like as a whole, we should probably just stop bringing actors back to reprise these roles in newer movies. There's characters that have not played for like such an extended period. The idea is definitely run its. And chances are, like, any more movies that do it aren't going to do it as well as Dead did. Doctor Strange is probably a good example. Like, they made a fairly big deal of, hopefully, but like other companies could still do it. DC tried it with the Flash. Prices on Infinite. Show, like the TV show version and the animated movie. It's possible they'll still keep doing it. But it's like with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and it's like, oh, following Spider-Man No Way Home. It's like, oh cool, what other versions of characters are we gonna get? We're gonna get people reprising the roles, gonna get interesting stuff. And then the trailer goes and decides to spend time showing off Patrick Stewart. Oh yeah, we got Patrick Stewart back as Professor X. And he's in a comic book accurate wheelchair that really just does not look good in live action. But it's like, yeah, here's Patrick Stewart as Professor X. We've brought Haley Atwell back to play Captain Carter in live action. Here's John Krasinski, like everybody wanted, as Mr. Fantastic, officially reintroducing the Fantastic Four concept into the MCU. Here's the guy who played Black Bolt in the Inhumans back to reprise his role as Black Bolt. And then that's like 10 minutes of the entire movie. And they were showing that off like crazy in the trailers, and it's like, if that had just been it, and we'd not known about it coming, and it had been there and then it had gone, that'd be fine. It would have been an interesting, pretty neat little look. And they knew exactly what they're doing. Like, the minute Professor X rolls up, it's like, and our last member, Professor Charles Xavier, and he rolls up and they start playing the X-Men series theme. Like, they knew what they were doing. And it just doesn't mean anything at any point. And like every time we dabble with the multiverse idea of bringing back previous acts, we run the risk of doing that more and more. It probably is time to just stop. I think it also ties into a thing of like, it's an easy idea. And there's a thought that's been rolling around with regards to stuff like how prevalent crossovers have become in video games. It's like, oh, we don't need to create a new character because we can just license a character that already exists. Because it's cheaper and easier than getting somebody to actually something new. This is mostly moving away from the multiverse tangent, say, just into something else entirely. Like the Mortal Kombat 1 roster for the DLC roster for the first Mortal Kombat 1 DLC pass was fully announced. And what, I think it's 2 Mortal Kombat characters and 2 characters. There's like the T-1000, I think probably played by Robert Patrick. No, it'd be the second season, because the first season had fucking Homelander and Omni-Man and Peacemaker. I don't remember who the other guest character was in it. Because the T-1000 is someone else. It doesn't matter, like, stuff like that, and like Fortnite is constantly crossovers, and Call of Duty Warzone's constantly licensing fictional characters and real people as operators. Because it's just a quick, easy way to get money. But yeah, we'll pay for the licensing and then we'll be like, oh yeah, I want to play as that character. And give us a load of money for it. And so creatively, 36,000. And it's just so prevalent everywhere. Conan, that was it. Oh, Ghostface a bit of it. Alright, let's see if I can rep. Is that Noob Saibot? Yeah, it's Noob Saibot. It's a big redesign if it is. You say when they've made Sector and Cyrax women. That's the bigger redesign. Like, Sector, Cyrax, and Noob Saibot, I'm like, of course you recognize them because the addition of boobs doesn't detract from the design of robot with colours. It's like, oh, red robot and yellow robot. Have gushing green aura. Oh, yeah, Noob, I suppose, especially recently, has had the black aura kind of thing. Like, Sector, Cyrax, and Noob Saibot, even with the new designs for Sector and Cyrax being women, still, of course, people have been like, oh, they're women and feminism, blah blah blah. I could fucking buy that, aren't I? If I'm buying a game like this and I'm getting DLC, and this was something I said with MK11 and with Injustice 2, like if I'm getting something like this and I'm getting DLC for these characters, like DLC for these games, I'd like more characters that are from the series. Like with Injustice 2, when they started adding Mortal Kombat characters, it was so fucking frustrating. It's like, cool, you've just had a Mortal Kombat game. And so, like, whenever Raiden comes up for me, it's always like, okay, I've got the Black Lightning Premium skin on him. Because I'm so much more interested in having these characters in the DC fucking game. Nothing you can do for Sub-Zero. Was a little more okay with the Ninja Turtles and Hellboy, because they are comic characters. Even then, like, I'd have liked more actual DC characters. They started off really well with that as well. And Darkseid was DLC, Red Hood was DLC, they added Starfire, which I was like, oh yeah, Starfire. Enchantress, the Atom. I don't want to do like Starfire, the Enchantress, the Atom, and like we could have had other stuff. They could have had an actual Nightwing in the game. That would have been good. Livewire could have been interesting. Who was underrepresented? Any of the Mortal Kombat 1 DLC, any of the Injustice 1 DLC characters could have come back. Would have been happy with that. Batgirl, Zod, Obo, especially Obo. But no, we needed 2 spaces for Mortal Kombat characters and then a bunch of extra. And then Mortal Kombat 11 comes along and like gonna give you, how many was it? Very few actual Mortal Kombat DLC characters. Shang Tsung, Nightwolf, Sindel, I think was DLC. But then also doubling down on the big problem with Mortal Kombat 10's DLC problem of so many guest characters. Robocop, Terminator, Rambo, Spawn, the Joker. Like, cool, I didn't want the Joker in Injustice 2. Makes you think we want him in Mortal Kombat 11. Why wasn't Spawn in Injustice 2? You say Warner Brothers gonna Warner Brothers, but like, I have the same issue with Tekken 7. Like, the first season was almost entirely guest characters. East Howard, Noctis. They added somebody from Virtua Fighter. The second season added fucking from The Walking. Like, I'd just like more characters. Either new characters or characters from the previous games that weren't in there. There's a suggestion of a Tekken 8 league that Kazuma Kiryu is going to be the last DLC character of the first season pass. Multiple season passes is also really putting me off into a fighting game. Like, Tekken Tag Tournament 2's there with its huge roster expanded for free at launch, and now fighting games are just multiple passes. Even looking back at Injustice, it's crazy Injustice 2 had only 1 season pass given how many characters got with that. Welcome back, Flynn. We're about to end because I don't want to do this cave, and I'm just gonna read the tutorials for Final Fantasy Tactics before next, so we can just do Final Fantasy Tactics. This really isn't a game to sit down and just do for an extended period. It's been less than 5 hours and it feels like so much more. Definitely interested in coming back to FF1, but one of the later versions that makes the game faster, undeniably. Like, dungeon design like this is still a big part of the problem I have with FF4. Yeah, something. Like, auto battle would help. But it's not even about grinding. Grinding I can do off stream. Not really even an issue. The basic gameplay loop is slow and tedious. And later versions of it make it so much faster. And just generally more engaged. Plus, like, get rid of the tedium with the way magic works in this, even with an... It's not actually an MP system, it's a pseudo-MP system. So it is actually the same style as the game originally launched with, just with more. So it's limited numbers of casts per level, like it originally was, just with more numbers of casts. So yeah, if you're going to play this, play one of the later versions, definitely. Pixel Remaster, recommend. I will need to read those tutorials for Final Fantasy Tactics, and you will know if I haven't next stream, because I'll on stream. Yeah, back to FF Tactics. We'll come back to FF1 in another form. Not even that I was wrong about what the best version of this is to play. It's that I underestimated how tedious. That's the issue. Still stand by the idea of the PSP version, the best version. Certainly in terms of presentation, but the Pixel Remaster is most likely going to be the best version in terms of just the gameplay experience. So I guess that's going to do it for us for today. I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to Chat Chat, is always the best part of the stream. Clem, Panda, Icy, Beak, thanks so much for joining. We return, we'll be doing Final Fantasy Tactics. And hopefully we'll be able to stick with that and do it properly. I've kind of got an idea in my head of the original version of it, as it was originally released. I'll have to see. I'll have to do some checks on comparison between the hack that I've got and the original version. How much does the hack actually really improve the play experience? But yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics. And hopefully that'll go well, and if it does, it hopefully leads to me just enjoying Tactics generally. So many there for me to do. Triangle strategy, Tactics Ogre, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. So here's hoping. In case you're wondering what the memo saves are, they're not technically a quick save, they count as a proper save, but they're stored in the PlayStation's RAM. So once you turn the PlayStation off, you lose. But if you die, you can still reload from them. The issue with that is proper saving in this game comes from sleeping. And great. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Not really anything else today. So, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic summer day. And we'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.